Hello and welcome to another episode of the Magic Arena Run. Today, I was going to do the usual plan with this next one, the Dragon's Fire deck. This one is basically a stock mono red deck, but if you notice in the bottom left, I kind of crossed out the stock, and this is my opinion of what the original deck is. It's not quite Dragon Fire. Okay, so that kind of needs a little bit of explanation. So let's take a look at the deck in its actuality. So this is the original Dragon's Fire deck. Let's see what exactly is up here. So first we're gonna take a look at the curve here. So most of our drops are 2 drops. You notice that it's a reverse bell curve. Normally you want to gradually be going up here. You don't want so many high 5s and 6 drops. In fact, you kind of want to have a little extra action here. But that in itself is not the issue. Let's take a look at the actual deck. So let's change the view format. So it starts off with decent 3 copies of Lightning Strike. There are 3 copies of Sure Strike, which is okay on the assumption that we're always going to get into combat. But here's the thing. Our creatures are 3 copies of Goblin Instigator. This one's pretty good. 3 copies of Kargan Dragon Rider. Unfortunately, it's most of the time it's a 2/2 for 2. 2 copies of Viashino Pyromancer. This one's actually quite serviceable. So our 2-drop slot's quite good. This is where things get bad. The only good card we have here is a copy of Spitflame. Decent creature removal, instant speed. 3 copies of Pyromantic Pilgrim. Nice haste damage, but note the toughness. This guy gets blocked by everything. Doesn't even have trample, so it's not a very good Spark Elemental copy or whatnot. Well, this is a common, and it's not. And I think this is actually a welcome deck common. Anyway. Then we also have 3 copies of Anake Ogre. Again, take note of the toughness. Sure, the power is great, but we can't assume our opponent is A, not gonna cast creatures, and B, if they're not casting creatures, they are doing something else. I guess this deck would be fine if our opponent is the absolute do-nothing deck. But I'm pretty sure people like to play Magic too, so we have to assume our opponent will do something. That said, this guy is very good at trading, but also note that it's just 1 creature. Any removal, and this guy actually dies to shock. Well, maybe not fatal push, but dying to shock is kind of a bit embarrassing for a 3-drop. Then our 4-drop, 3 copies of Havoc Devils, 4/3 trample. Okay, it's a little bit better for limited. However, again, this guy will trade with almost any decent 3-drop, some decent 2-drops. We'll trade with a Lightning Strike. Again, probably not so great. And we have some good dragons here at least. 1 copy of Demanding Dragon. 2 copies of Spark Tongue Dragon. It's not so good for a 5-drop. It's actually great as an 8-drop. So we actually have to consider this more as an 8 than a 5. 2 copies of Fire Elemental. Again, somewhat decent but very plain. Not so great. Our opponent can run circles around this guy and Havoc Devils and Onaki Ogre. Then, our top end is a bunch of 6 and 7 drops. Fiery Finish, very expensive for a removal spell. I would much rather have Fight with Fire, which only costs 3 mana. It's 2 damage less. Burning Sun's Avatar, 1 copy from Ixalan. Kinda okay, but feels kind of out of place here. 2 copies of Volcanic Dragon, 4/4 Flying Haste. The other problem we have here is, if you notice, it's just creatures removal. Actually, it's barely any removal. We've only got 6 actual copies for removal. Spark Tongue Dragon's very expensive for removal. Sure Strike, kinda decent, but it's a lot harder to set up. It's also cost 2 mana. I would much rather have the 1 mana version. That sure, it's only +1/+0, but it's a lot easier set up that way. So a lot of these cards are not going to give much benefit. It assumes that we actually get to this late game. And with cards like these, it's most likely that even if we do, we're gonna be way behind. The only good side here is we have Lattice Dragon Queen, so she's quite good. Has some synergy with dragons. Not enough in my opinion. Actually, the way I see it, we could use a lot better. We could use better stuff than this. So I did actually play a few games of this free play. This deck kind of got demolished even by the stock constructed black deck. So I did play against one guy. I don't know if it made it to video, but I made a comment that, okay, this looks like a dragon deck, but it looks kind of bad. Turns out it's actually no wonder it's kind of bad. I'm looking at the deck now. I sincerely apologize. It's not your fault. So that said, let's take a look at how we edited the deck a bit. So we're actually taking advantage of some of the good stuff from Dominaria. We still have a bit of a reverse curve, but it's a little bit more purposeful. So okay, let's take a look at that stuff. Okay, that was a weird glitch. I couldn't click out. Still couldn't click out for some reason. There you go. Okay, so we up the ante in Goblin. So 3 copies of Fanatical Firebrand. So Goblin that serves as some sort of removal. Rigging Runner, a slightly more aggressive Goblin. Our extra spice is Skirk Prospector. Generally, this is a bad card, but you produce a few goblins. If your opponent hasn't bothered answering them, let's say it's white blue or blue black deck, you can drop Skirk Prospector, sacrifice these guys, basically set up to one of the larger dragons. So it's kind of more like pinch mana. So we also have more removal, copies of Shivan Fire. I opted for this instead of Shock because we need to have more options to deal with bigger creatures. Single copy of Bane Fire because I had it. Also quite good way to use up all the mana here. Up the ante on Goblin Instigator. More copies of Lightning Strike because very good. I kept some limitations here, so I kept some of the limitations, namely pretty much only up to Ixal and down, so I probably could have fit a Braid here. I could have fit some of the more aggressive red creatures. In fact, I could have just made it the basic mono red deck. But with these limitations, and I wanted to keep the dragon team alive somewhat. So for our 3 drops, Goblin Chain Whirler, if you have more, go ahead, drop it. I only put 2 in. Lanry Storm is kind of like a concession because if I had another Goblin Chain Whirler, I'd put him in there. Fight with Fire. Again, I said this is much better than the Fiery Lash, the 6 mana one. Still kept the Spit Flame. I guess more of them. This is okay. One card I really would have liked to put in. I just did not want to invest the wild cards into. Let's see, Dragon Egg. This is a good early dragon drop. In fact, because of the lack of dragon drops, because we didn't have that many dragons, I dropped the 2/2/2 that could gain flying. This would have been a very good fit in conjunction with that. I could probably have dropped some other stuff, but as it is, I didn't want to invest the wild cards. If you happen to have copies of this lying around, definitely put it in. So 4 drops, single copy of Goblin Trashmaster. This one's more of a because I have it. This is really not a goblin deck, so I don't see him read. I guess he's good in the sense that since we're not running a breeds because of our limitation, he kind of gets around it. 1 copy of Verix Bladewing. A copy of Sarkhan would be a nice addition here. I didn't want to spend would be kind of decent, all basically because everything up above is dragons more or less. So not too shabby. Also gives us some card draw. So Verix Bladewing, Goblin Barrage. This one's just a one-off because I have it. Good way to get some extra damage in. Had the 2nd copy of Demanding Dragon. It is the better one. I had Glory Bringers. I didn't put it in there just for because of the restriction, but definitely go ahead. Actually, if you get copies of Sarkhan's Whelp, this is a welcome deck. This is more of the Planeswalker deck, but I guess this is okay. It's basically a 2/2 flyer, so not too bad. So Siege Gang Commander, more goblins, gives us some extra reach here. Spark Tongue Dragon, I guess this one could really be just a one-off. Lattice Dragon Queen kept her around here. I guess if I had more dragons, I would, but this is a case of quality over quantity. So I would play a dragon if I have it. I wouldn't try to dump all the dragons immediately if I could. It's more like I'd force my opponent to answer what I have on board first before I start dropping threats. Oh, by the way, speaking of goblins, if you happen to have a squee, sure, why not? Great combo with Siege Gang Commander, Goblin Barrage, whatnot. Then, so I also edited the mana base. 25 mountains is a bit too much because we cut down the curve a bit. So I opted to go for 24, also because of the Skirk Prospector question mark package. I guess I could have put copies of Trumpet Blast. So just a few ways to improve our card draw. Arch of Araska, Zalfarian Void. Basically ways to go through our deck a little bit faster because we don't have that many dragons. And I didn't put cards like Tormenting Voice or whatnot here. Anyway, this is just a theoretical example. I'm going to proceed with this deck instead. This one did somewhat better in free play, so this is what I'm gonna go with in quick constructed. I'm not going to go with the Dragon's Garbage Fire or whatnot. So so wish me luck here. So still recording. Okay, so let's see how far we get with this one. This is not a typical mono red deck, so we actually have to play for the long game. We can't expect to really. We don't have the usual card advantage engines like Bomat Courier, or well, we have a few Goblin Chain Whirlers, but not much. So I'm good. So at least here we got turn 1 into a turn 2 play into a Lightning Strike maybe. If we're lucky, we can drop Goblin Chain Whirler. Hopefully this is a good matchup. I'm actually hoping there'll be more goblins come Guilds of Ravnica. Something I'm looking forward to. So the Fanatical Firebrand, Raged Against the World, Raged Against the Machine. Kinda just raged. Opponent's also red. Okay, we didn't draw a third mana source yet. No rush for that. Could use it though. So I'm gonna go into combat. If Fanatical Firebrand eats a shock, it's perfectly fine. Okay, so this is actually red-white. Expecting it. Oh, it's quite slow. So I'm actually gonna hold on. I don't need to drop the Goblin Chain Whirler just yet. In fact, I'm gonna hold back the Fanatical Firebrand. See what our opponent drops. Technically, I could have just dropped the Goblin Chain Whirler. As it is, our opponent's thinking about how to deal with 1/1 goblins. This hasn't really quite played anything. So I guess we're being kind of set up. I could drop Goblin Instigator. It'll suck to lose them all to a Goblin Chain Whirler, but I'm going to have to roll the dice on that one. As it is, our opponent is really not doing anything. Normally this deck, if you've seen what I've done with the Boros Assault deck, this deck should have done something ages ago. Probably expecting something right now. No? Is he missing the 1 mana for Chain? Okay, Sweltering Suns. He did have something. Perfectly fine. So as you can see here, it wasn't such a great loss. And now I can kind of afford to drop Goblin Chain Whirler. It's probably gonna eat the Lightning Strike though. So I'm hoping for 2 more lands to drop Lattice into Spark Tongue. I'm willing to hold back Spark Tongue here. Okay, let's see what our opponent does.
Oketra, watch over me.
+1,
I
okay.
don't think so.
So he does nothing, so I'm going to have to... Okay, I really want to hold it back for Lattice. So I'm going to just end the turn here. Upgrade, deal 3. Yeah, sure, that's fine. Okay, so I'm not... Okay, we saw...
You'll have to get through me first.
Let's see if we can deal... Okay. I'm gonna drop Lattice first. Probably gonna eat the Castaway though. But if our opponent doesn't have it, it'll be really fine. So let's see how far we can get. Let's see, opponent's got the no, not Castaway yet. I'd be surprised if our opponent didn't have Castaway considering he's playing white.
You hold no power over me.
Okay, so I'm going to just drop Spark Tongue right now. Okay, I'm not gonna pay the tree. I am gonna create a token. So this might be the... So no attacks. So right now what I can do is I can actually just trade with the Rekindling Phoenix and just lightning strike the token. It's gonna bop Arch of Oraska, which is a good play. Takes me 1 land deeper. Ooh, I wish that was really a Demanding Dragon on top. Okay, so our opponent's still dumping a lot more lands than I am. He's gonna keep hitting with Gideon, but... all I have to do is just Lightning Strike, Land Restorm. I can take Gideon off the table.
The side
Okay.
of justice will never lose.
He's gonna just emblem it up. He knows the gig is up, sort of. So I'm gonna go attack first. So I'm going to actually swing the 2 big guys here. Swing Spark Tongue here. Probably should have cast Demanding Dragon first so I could get 1 more token. Just gonna seal away. Yeah, probably should have done 1 more. Okay, you know what? He hasn't gone into blockers yet, so... I'm actually gonna just... Wait, no. Let's resolve that. Okay. He's gonna block. He's gonna seal... Oh, he's gonna seal away the second one. He had all seal aways. So let's see if he actually tries to... Okay, we'll resolve that. Let's see if he actually tries to trade with the Rekindling Phoenix. Yo, he's gonna trade. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So... Trade. Produce token. Resolve. Lightning strike. Yeah, I really could have wanted. I really want to make another token, but getting rid of Rekindling Phoenix is much more important for me. Likewise, I could have just played Lanry Storm and attacked also. So, opponent was kind of depending on Seal Aways. Did a very good job of that. He's gonna start putting down actual threats now that he's down to Rekindling Phoenix. Actually, it looks like Gideon deck. So I'm gonna take 4 damage again. No blocks. So he's gonna take 5 damage from Demanding Dragon. Okay. So interestingly, Captain Lanry Storm creates a treasure token. Goblin Barrage can use that artifact. So let's hope our opponent actually plays a creature. So gonna all attack. I'm ignoring Gideon. I have to deal with Gideon eventually. Thankfully, Goblin Barrage can kind of do that. So I know so I need to have 5 consistent damage here. Chandra Torch of Defiance. So I'm actually gonna have to ignore her. I have to deal with Gideon first. Let's see what she does though. She could kill Lanry Storm. That'd be annoying. Or she could even kill Demanding Dragon in conjunction with another. Okay, good. He decided to go for the broke. I'm just gonna take the 4 damage. No reason to risk that. Let's see. Hopefully I have enough removal for this. He's gonna deal 4 damage to target creature, sure.
Time to die.
Then he's gonna just toss a burn spell. Okay, gonna lose Captain Lanry Storm also. That's not fine, but it'll have to do. Could sacrifice this now. I need damage out. I'm a few cards short though. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna take 2 from here. I'm gonna take another 4. I could try to off Gideon, but there are no target creatures, so I'm gonna have to end the turn here. That's the problem. And I'm a few permanents short of. Okay, let's end the turn. I'm not gonna risk.
Today's my lucky day.
Okay, so I'm just gonna take 2 then. Well, she could cast to replace it. Okay, she's gonna do just that. So he's gonna keep the correct one. Okay, he's gonna do it again.
Yup, you're going down.
So wonder what 6 mana monstrosities. Kindling Phoenix. That actually gives me a good target. But I still have to kill Gideon first. That's the problem.
A worthy opponent.
So Goblin Trashmaster doesn't do it. So yep, that's a good game for this one. This was quite close. Just wasn't able to deal with Gideon in time. Opponent was playing a lot of Planeswalkers. So that's that. Yeah. I'm gonna let him do this. Now, as much as I'd like it to be the story of, oh, I was able to beat the Planeswalker deck, getting quite close is kind of a moral victory. Getting quite close is good enough for me in a sense, considering I know this is not a great deck to start with. I did give myself additional constraints. So let's try again. So it's very possible that this deck is not gonna do as well, but I don't want to say I don't want to just use the phrase "trust me," but I didn't exactly want to spend 1,000. I didn't exactly want to spend 500 gold and that much time playing through the original deck either. Okay, so we can go Goblin. We're gonna keep this first and take a look at what deck our opponent has. So this is a burn deck. I can play Rigging Runner now. Start getting beats and basically try to outrace our opponent. Yeah, let's do that. As much as I'd like to wait on the Rigging Runner, we have to take advantage of that strength right now. So Zhalfirin Void. Skirk. We can keep the Skirk Prospector on top. That's part of the plan. So I'm going to combat first. Attack. Drop the Goblin Instigator. Hope our opponent is not playing Sweltering Suns or that much. Turns out our opponent was playing white-red control. Brazen Scourge. Ooh, okay, we'll take that damage. Let's see. No blocks. Okay, so here's our plan. Gonna go into combat. Swing with the team. Drop Skirk Prospector. So I need to sacrifice 3 creatures to drop Demanding Dragon. So sacrifice a Goblin. Yes. We'll sacrifice the token. It's gonna take a while. Sacrifice the Instigator. And since that's it, we're gonna sacrifice the Prospector himself. And with our mana, I'm gonna drop a quick Demanding Dragon. Hope he doesn't die too soon. So let's see if what our opponent does. Okay, he's gonna off tap. So that was kind of the plan. We were able to get a turn 3 Demanding Dragon out of few cheap resources. Opponent's dropping Varix Bladewing. So we can't just Lightning Strike it. Actually, we're gonna see if we can lure our opponent into just blocking. Okay. Up. Okay. So first strike damage. To Lightning Strike. So 1/1 first strike is quite perfect. 5 damage. And because I attacked a real 2/2 Rigging Runner. So we were able to get that bit out of the way. He's now dropping a Demanding Dragon of his own. So let's see. We're gonna take the 5 damage. We're gonna instead. So let's see, 5, 6. You can take 6. Okay, I'm gonna go all in. Let's see if he's gonna block those 2. I don't see any evidence of him playing. He's mostly playing dragons here, so I'm gonna just drop Goblin Chain Whirler now. Bring him down to 7. So a few more hits, we should be able to do him in. We could use a little more. Okay, we're gonna lose him to Harness Lightning. That's okay. Well, no, that's not okay. Because we're kinda resources down. Opponent dropped via Shingo Pyromancer. Okay, we can start racing. So I'm gonna swing. Okay, he's gonna block. I'm gonna just drop the Spark Tongue Dragon now, so that if he doesn't play anything, he's dead next turn. Not likely the case. He's got a Spark Tongue of his own. So let's see. Can we draw the? Nope, we didn't. So we're gonna just go into mass combat. So, he's gonna actually willingly go down. Okay, so we'll end the turn there. Didn't quite make it just yet. It's gonna be heartbreaking if it turns out he has... Okay. Still heartbreaking. He's looking at his card. He's looking at my creatures. I have no choice. I still have to swing for it anyway. He's got something. Yeah, got the lightning strike. So now we're at the disadvantage. We could use a lightning strike of our own. So we're off to the races. Come on. So, something off the top. Something off the top, please. Not more. Okay, Fanatical Firebrand might. Okay. So I'm gonna go into combat. Okay, I'm gonna go into combat anyway. If he has a removal spell, he's gonna at least spend it there. Okay. Use your lightning strike. Well, at least that way he didn't use the lightning strike on me. He should just held back. Okay, I'm not gonna show him the land. 4, 5, 6. I wouldn't have enough anyway. So come on, something off the tops. That's not gonna do it. So I guess Goblin War Chief, I chose not to put that in because it barely did much for the mana base, but technically I could use the haste. Yeah. I'm gonna put some of the Goblin War Chiefs in. Oh, and he has Chandra too. So that was...
When people start screaming,
Ooh, that was a bit heartbreaking. We were so close.
Oh, this is
Close is never... Well, technically our opponent already had the win. And, okay, kind of showing off a bit. Yeah, sure. Let him have it.
This'll be
He
easy.
did have the Bowmat Couriers and the good stuff. Okay, so our quest to validate this deck is not going so well. I'm probably gonna drop back to bronze after all of this. Come on. So it's quite possible that okay, one way to put this is mono red is very good if you put all the really good stuff. Or how do you say this? The reason why mono red is a very big contender in standard, especially the meta here right now, is basically the quality of cards. You have to play really good quality cards in order... Oh, I could have used that one. So I'm mostly playing a lot of cheap to really mediocre cards, all mostly commons. So, okay, turn 1 Skirk Prospector, turn 2, so end turn. So I can Bane Fire this next turn. More curious as to what our opponent's gonna drop. We won't have quite the mana just yet, but we might be able to get out an early Demanding Dragon. See where opponent's gonna drop. Alright, Green Seeker. Okay, so this is a big land ramp deck. I should expect a Gigantomancer soon. If he attacks with Llanowar... Okay, he didn't attack, but if he were to attack, I probably would have... Okay. Do I just take out the elves right now? No, let's just build up our board. So we can lightning strike if we need to, but we won't. So next turn we're gonna go for a demanding dragon. Probably just sack these two then. Let's see what our opponent does with all his mana. Green Belt Rampager. He's gonna get it down. So if he spends all his time playing Green Belt Rampager, I'm just gonna drop the Demanding Dragon. So one thing we learned is that Spark Tongue Dragon is probably very weak on mono red alone. You kind of want to run him in a red-green kicker style deck. So let's see if our opponent actually plays the Rampager for real. We could race it. Taking the damage. Oh, he is playing the Rampager for real. Okay, gonna end the turn here. I'm not gonna I'm gonna just drop the Demanding Dragon. Okay, we also have a pair of lightning strikes. So first, Skirk, yes. Sacrifice, submit. Yes. Submit. Demanding Dragon. Opponent's probably gonna sacrifice one of these two creatures. But a really good opponent would probably just take the life hit. Though using the Dried Green Seeker's ability and then just sacrificing it's probably not so bad to play either. Ooh, he's got something. Oh, that's it. Sorry. Okay, so we're gonna just start going up in the air. If we can get another land, I can just drop Spark Tongue Dragon. Probably not too necessary. I think I kind of just want to hold up for the double lightning strike. Okay, Hashef Oasis. So I kind of want my opponent to play something so I can just Banefire the Rampager. Yuck, okay. Okay, not quite. Okay. I'm gonna go into combat first. Because he can crew it and I can double bolt it, so... Okay, he's gonna resolve that. That means he's got a pump spell. So he's gonna declare blockers first. Let's see what he does. Okay. Oh, no pump spell. Oh wait, he does have a pump spell. He acts first. No, he acts second. Sorry. Blossoming Defense. gonna be annoying if it turns out he has a second Blossoming Defense. So I'm going to cast one. Okay. Cast the second one. And because he allowed the first one to resolve, even if he were to cast a Blossoming Defense now, it will still trade. So, that was a bit inefficient. Managing to draw into land. So, this guy's going to be a bit of a threat. I might have to just drop a Skirk Prospector, then next turn Banefire, hopefully draw into land. Okay, our opponent's about to do something right now. Oh, attack. No reason not to. So, wonder what's he gonna drop here. Probably not Heart of Kiran considering he attacked. Vinemare. Oh, this is gonna be nut. So Zhalfirin Void. So we got. Okay, we have to keep that on top. I am going to play the Skirk Prospector, get something down. So I am actively racing. Thankfully, Vinemare does not have trample, so I have that option. And I'm about to play my 5th land, so okay, he's been hitting lands with this very good. Well. So we will be able to Banefire Greenbelt Rampager. So first things first, if our opponent doesn't have any made to get trample, I will just block. I will just give up the Skirk Prospector. Okay. So the opponent drops. Our opponent's got a lot more resources than we do. We kind of stalled out on land a bit. So let's see. 5, 6, 7. Uh-oh. Not good. Okay, he's just dropping everything. So here's the situation. I have to drop a blocker or else he runs me over. So wait. I can swing. 5. This one goes for the block. Then I can swing, then Banefire for the win. This one only gives +3/+3. Does not give trample. But let's see. I will block 1. So 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. If he drops, he won't have enough lands to Hashef twice. This might change things, but so I'm gonna drop this now. This is my blocker. I have to swing with Demanding Dragon. That's the only way I'm gonna win. Oh wait, hold on. Okay, if he gives himself +4/+4, it's 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 6. Okay. So 5, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah. That's enough for lethal if he... Depends how he attacks. He has to attack with everything. Okay, he can't activate this. If he has a pump spell, I lose. So 6, 11, 12, 13, 14. The correct play is to block Torn Lieutenant. I'll take 5, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, that's really the only play. he should have attacked with Dried Green Seeker. If he has a pump spell, I lose anyway. Doesn't matter. Well, at least he's... Okay, we might have stolen this one. Barely. Okay. So we have to attack with Demanding Dragon, then Banefire opponent. Okay, keep that on top because it doesn't matter. And 5 or more, so it can't be countered. And there is no 1 mana fog. Good game. Okay, that's not misclick. So let's see. Okay. So it goes to his hand, yeah. He got a lot of lands out of this. This is our opponent's gonna learn from that mistake from in the future. This is memorable enough that he's never gonna repeat it again, in my opinion. So even with a jank deck, we're able to teach people some things. So I sincerely doubt we're gonna make it to 4 wins, but let's see how far we can get with this one. So already some things we've learned from here. 1, this deck definitely needs to get the cards from Amonkhet and Kaladesh. 2, we definitely need to up the Goblin game a bit. Either that, or we can skip the Goblin game altogether. There is a way around that. Okay. Thank you, Daimao. I don't know what happened. I'll probably check Discord. Someone's gonna complain about the disconnect, I suppose. But thank you. So let's see how much time we're in right now. Okay, we are getting close to the 1 hour mark, so I've already prepped the deck on deck stats. I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do 2 flavors of it. I'm probably just gonna do 1 flavor right now. Actually, no. I can still do 2 flavors. Basically, one where it focuses on the Goblin Tribal aspect, which is a bit messy. Okay, I'm gonna keep this. The other is I can go for control I can go for control into lots and lots of dragons. So okay, what's Nvidia up to? Ooh, not Flavor Forged. So Goblin Instigator. So we're gonna be on the lookout for whatever creatures our opponent drops. We're gonna, at least we got the removal for it. And we got a 10 turn clock. So opponent's gonna drop removal. He could have Golden Demise. That would be annoying, but at least it's out of the way now. Bonus Hunger. Each opponent sacrifices creature. Okay. So we're now down to a 20 turn clock. $19 more turns. So yes, we can go for a Goblin Tribal strategy into fewer dragons. Basically, we just keep quality dragons on top. Josuves. So I don't want to waste 2 cards on this, but I don't have a choice. So that's annoying. I could have waited for him to try to equip, but I don't exactly have a lot of time. I have now an 18 turn clock. At least the Spark Tongue Dragon will make things go faster, but without a decent way to take care of the Black Blade, we have to take care of any creature he drops. And at least we're doing a job of it. So basically, it's a lot of kill on sight. So got Goblin Chain Whirler. I can hold back Spark Tongue. 6, 7, 8. No, it's probably unrealistic because he'll be able to equip it by then. Well, maybe not. I'm not too sure about what his creatures are. But I'll drop Goblin Chain Whirler first. We'll give something our opponent to think about. So we now have a 4-turn clock unless our opponent deals with this guy. It's got 5 mana. Probably has a creature. Okay, has a lot of creatures, but at least they're not legendary. Thankfully, Liliana can't carry the Black Blade. She's not swole enough. She is going to get back Josu Vess, which is annoying. And he can carry Black Blade, so I'm now holding these guys back. And I'm now going forward up top here. Probably should have dropped this one first if that was the case. Still technically we now have a 6-turn clock because these guys are locked out. This guy has Menace, so we will actually be taking quite a number if he equips now. And another weakness of red is the amount of damage we need, especially to go up over the top some guy like Josu. Brother and sister working together, who knew? And I don't like the look you're giving that. Okay, this is going to be a very quick game, not in our favor. He still has enough mana to equip the blade. And it's got Menace. And
I am in control.
Let's see. I'm gonna take the 10 for now. Let's see if we can generate enough blockers. Okay, that's not quite it. I'm gonna have to get rid of this card advantage engine, which is probably not gonna happen. Zombie goes in front. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And why not? At least we're getting some. At least we're drawing some things, but we're not gonna win this anytime soon. And yeah, Death Baron again. Yeah, this is the good version of the zombie deck. I'm wondering, did I put Josu Vess in the main deck list of both? If I didn't put him there, you should. There's really no reason not to put him. So, in order to stay alive, I must block with these two. So I'm never gonna hit Liliana, so I'm just gonna have to keep hitting here. Well, this game... Okay, so we got ourselves Lattice, but she's not gonna do much. She's simply gonna just chump. She's only gonna chump it. So, and we're not generating enough creatures in time, so I'm gonna say good game because I'm going to attack with this guy. Yeah, basically this is just me throwing in the towel. And our opponent is kind enough to let us deal some damage. Yeah, sure, why not? Okay, so now that we have that out of the way, we can now proceed to how to actually make this deck better without resorting to the mono red deck. He is bringing everything back. Okay. Let's see. Well, he gave me the honor of blocking the Death Baron. Okay, so that's it for the games portion. So not so great. In fact, I'm probably gonna be in bronze by the time all of this is done. So we're gonna claim our prizes. So not too bad. Okay, finally got my 4th copy of Self-Fearing Void. So that's it for this part. So we're now going to switch over to the deck builders. So this is what this is how we started off, and we're going to now edit this deck. So we're gonna go about this 2 ways. So starting with this one, we're gonna edit this for more goblins. So basically, more efficient goblin tribal with a few dragons up top just to get with a few dragons up top just to be the how do you say this just to be the finishers. So let's see, we should be on the lookout for kicker spells. I'm gonna put Bloodstone Goblin in. It's very weak though. Well, maybe not with Menace. Not putting Bogart Brute in. It's a bit pricey for what it is. Dark Dweller Oracle is a very good way to get some card advantage. But do note that it's basically pay 1 for a card, sacrifice a creature to get a card that you have to use immediately. So maybe not that great in this deck. Goblin War Chief, this was the one I overlooked. We could put Gutter Snipe if we'll probably put Gutter Snipe in the other iteration when we start putting all the burn spells. So as it is, we're probably 1 copy of Squee, cause why not? Volley Veteran, what this one's from Ixalan, I think. Oh no, it's from M19. When Volley Veteran enters the battlefield, deals damage to target creature equal to the number of goblins you control. I guess a copy or 2 of this is okay in the all goblins mode. So let's keep going. Oh, that's it. I guess I could put Wily Goblin, but it's just a 1/1 that creates a treasure. No, thank you. So with that in mind, first we're gonna drop the Spark Tongue Dragons. Those are not quite good. I would add another copy of Spit Flame. That one was good. So that in mind, Goblin Barrage, you can add an additional copy of that. Goblin Instigator, sure. Trash Master, 1 copy. War Chief probably should be 2 copies. So with that in mind, Lattice is actually not so great anymore. We dropped a lot of our dragons, we just kept the demanding dragons. In theory, we can do the rotation safe deck by making it more goblin than dragon. That said, it's not gonna stop. It won't stop us from adding dragon eggs, I suppose. We don't have a way to sacrifice creatures though. Actually, we do, but we didn't exactly put that card in. And Goblin Barrage is looking specifically for goblins. So let's see what else we got here. So Sarkhan's Dragonfire deals 3 damage to any target. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. This one's okay. It's damage plus card advantage. I guess we could put one. That's going to be part of our sideboard. We probably should start building a sideboard. Okay. Also 1 cop. No, actually, with all goblins, this deck does not benefit from Sarkhan Fireblood. That'll be the other deck. So, okay, drop. Okay, so we dropped all those. So we're gonna start building up our sideboard as well. So we're gonna add copies of Smelt. In fact, we don't have much in the way of kicker. Let's see if there are any good kicker spells in red. So Fire with Fire, get 2 Chroniclers, Skizix. Okay, nope. Bloodstone Goblin can go. So we're gonna keep Lanry Storm. Mirage Trainer, War Chief, Taskmaster, Rigging Runner. We'll probably up the Siege Gang Commanders. Skirk Prospector is the one that can go now since we're not in a rush anymore. So let's see what are our other removal spells. So let's look at damage. So we got the usual stuff. A Braid. Probably the Banefires can go to the sideboard now. In fact, I'll probably add about another copy. Fight with Fire. Basically to make it more controlling, we add more removal here. So likewise, Sheev and Fire. Actually, I can put more Sheev and Fire here. Then add some shocks to the add some shocks to the main instead. So that becomes our. Let's see what else. Again, we're trying to make this one rotation safe. So a lot of the cards from Kaladesh I want to add, I can't add. Sweltering Suns I want to add, I can't add. Cards like On-Crop Crasher, I really want to add that, can't add. Let's see what are. Let's see, sacrifice. Out of curiosity, are there any sacrifice effects in red? There's just Dark Dweller Oracle. Dismissive Pyromancer is a nice addition. It's basically removal in itself. Hazoret's Favor. Hazoret's Favor is actually quite interesting here. Again, if I decided to do all goblins without constraints, Hazoret's Favor would be a nice fit in. Incendiary Sabotage. This is, yeah, that's Kaladesh. Implements Kaladesh. Makeshift Munitions. No, this is not Kaladesh. Sacrifice an artifact or creature, deals 1 damage. This is not Goblin Bombardment, no. First Eruption. Actually, Flame of Keld would be if ever we need to get more damage in, we can actually put in copies of Flame of Keld. Probably 2 of those in. And 1 copy of Trove of Temptation. In fact, what we can do here is, okay, we got the Sarkhan's Dragonfire is interesting, but it's a bit pricey. So what I can do is, I can add this package and add treasure map. So, oh wait, it has to not be. Okay, let's see. Exactly colorless. That should give us treasure map. There you go. So add 2 copies of treasure map and 1 sorcerer's spyglass. Okay. So with that in mind, I can probably. I could probably just drop the flame. Okay, Flame of Keld is there for card draw. Basically, if I'm aiming for the long game, I empty my hand, then drop Flame of Keld. So with that in mind, I'm actually gonna just drop the Sheevan Fires and replace it with probably another shock. There you go. We're gonna keep the mana base as is. Memorial to War is simply not great. No, no reason. I would like to put Ramen Up Ruins here if I could, but again, aside from the constraints, it's also banned in standard, so that's a no. So basically, 2 copies of Spit Flame. We might be able to buy it back, but not by much. In fact, for this version, I could drop Lattice in favor of another Demanding Dragon. That's probably a better fit. So this deck is this version is rotation safe. Okay, so I'm gonna analyze the deck here. Again, we're gonna have a lot of ones. Actually, no, we balanced out more. We now have more ones, more twos. Our main top is trees, so we're definitely okay with 24 lands here. Got a nice 40-20, 40-20-40. And even with sideboard, we barely broke the bank here. So this is one way to do Goblin Dragon Fire. In fact, it's mostly now just Goblin Fire with a few dragons. Folly Veteran, still a one-off here. I guess we can increase this. Yeah, you can make adjustments as needed on some of the other cards. Probably can add more War Chiefs, drop the Trash Master in favor of more Siege Gang Commanders and Volley Veterans. So we'll save this deck. So save us a new deck. So Goblin Dragon. So this is an immediate update to the stock Dragon's Fire. Okay, so Goblin Dragon. Actually, add Goblin Tribal to the. So Goblin Tribal. So we're gonna save this as a new deck. So this is one way to do it, and it's rotation safe. Now we're gonna take a look at our. Now we're gonna take a look at the other deck again. Probably producing way too many decks than I should. So now we're going to edit. We're going to edit this deck to be more dragony than more dragons, and we're going to remove the constraints here. So first, let's get all the good dragons here. That would, and let's turn on the filter. So definitely dragon eggs. Demanding Dragons in. We can drop the Goblin Barrage, Chain Whirler, Instigator, Trash Master can go. Keep 1 copy of Lattice. We can drop the Rigging Runners. We can drop the Skirk Prospectors and the Siege Gang. I'm gonna leave this in here for now. I'm gonna put the 2 copies of Glorybringer that I have. Sarkhan's Whelp. Somehow, the Planeswalker deck edition of Sarkhan might be better. You know what? Okay, so since we're doing the more controlling form, we're gonna do 1 Sarkhan and 1 Planeswalker deck Sarkhan. We can afford to hit 6 here. So let's take a look. Definitely not Shivan Dragon. Skyship Stalker. Bit on the weak side. Definitely more Spit Flames. Actually, we can afford to put more now. Spit Flame, you may pay 1 to get it back. Sarkhan's Dragon Fire. It's a sorcery, that's the problem. That's what makes it. So I'm not too enthused with that. Wait, there's also something about the vault. Yeah. What? I'm trying to remember the card that is it Discovery or Revelation? Let's see. No disco, so Not revelation either. So what's okay? 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that didn't knock that down. Okay. If you cast converted mana cost. Not any of these. Something's not right. Okay. Let's look at enchantments then. Okay, so not consuming fervor fret. Sarkhan's Unsealing. There you go. So cast a creature spell with power 4, 5, or 6. We don't have any with 7 or greater. I'm gonna put one here as an experiment. Actually, we do have one with some 7, but let's see, what is that? That's a Hellion, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Inferno Hellion. 73 trample. If it attack so it goes back to the library. It's very fragile, but it is the only thing that will wipe the board. Alternately, Chaos Maw. Nah. Actually, might be quite happy with this. So let's take a look. Right now, probably another. So we need to bump up our burn spell mark. So a braid. Also more in the sideboard. Banefire. Okay, so Fanatical Firebrands can go now. Probably add up the Dragon Eggs then. Sheevan Fire, probably more on that one. Keep one copy of Varix. Spark Tongue Dragon is probably the weakest. In fact, I'm gonna drop these all together. No, now note that we have a lot of high mana cost, so let's look at artifacts. So we're looking for ways to generate stuff like treasure to run up our way there. We can also use Power Stone Shards. That's another way to get it, but we have no way to tutor for it, so it's gonna be kind of unreliable. Puzzle Knot. No, this doesn't do much. Let's see, just a search for artifact. Well, it's in blue, so we'd have to go there to if we want to do that. So probably treasure is the best way to do it. So PNLR can do it. It's in use. So we're gonna do copy of Trove of Temptation. We're gonna copy it that way. So let's round out the deck a bit. Oh wait. Kansas Blasting Cannons. Whenever you cast your third spell in a turn, not quite easy, but I'm going to leave that there's an option. So, okay, you can turn off the filters now. So one copy Sorcerer's Spyglass. Treasure map. We're gonna put the 2 copies here. So with that in mind, I'm gonna put the Trove in the sideboard. So more shocks if we're dealing with an more aggressive package. Got the braid. I can still put smelts. I can still put some smelts in. Let's see. I'm keeping the instigators and the chain whirlers basically as ways to gum up the board. It's nothing too serious. Alternately, I can sacrifice that board for something else. Well, but first, let's go back up to 25 lands for this deck. And let's see. Probably another. Okay, so we can drop the Banefire altogether for this one. So let's analyze this one. This one is... yeah, actually, since we're not going... so not Smelt. Can drop the Sheevan Fires. We'll just put Sweltering Suns in. So I'm gonna see if we can get rid of the Goblin Goblin Instigator. Oh, this is the real Goblin Dragonfire. Actually, this is now a no Goblin Dragonfire. So now looking at the curve, we are aiming for mostly 2s and 3s. Probably can. Yeah, I'm probably gonna drop the instigators. Make good make good very annoying things to block out, especially against some colors. So we can do it that way. So I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it at this. This one's definitely a lot more expensive, twice the price. A lot of the cards are gonna rotate out, so definitely don't do this in real life. But so we're gonna. But that's basically 2 ways to go forward with this deck. So now this is a no Goblin Dragonfire, so let's save this as a new deck. And I'll fix the tags later. So that's it for this episode. If you liked what you see, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's go back to the splash screen. Yep, there you go. And so next time we're going to do. So next time we're gonna go revisit one of our other older decks. Probably might be a little bit of delay on that one, but that's it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you guys again next time.